Okay, so the next collection that we have to talk about is lots of purple palettes, or like blue purple palettes, cool toned palettes. So that's this particular drawer. We'll start with Acetate Paradise Fallen. This is the old formulation, but I do really like the color story. I'm very tempted to get the new formulation, but I'm not sure if it's going to be like markedly better than this one. I would tend to think it would be, because that's, you know, kind of what they advertised, but I don't know, I'm hesitant. So I have this one for now, and I do really like the color story. I'm going to hang on to it, and at some point in the future I may or may not pick up the new version. If you have the new version, definitely tell me, is it like Tropical Paradise or not? Alright, this is the W7 Enchanted palette, which looks like this, and it is a dupe for Nabla Soul Blooming, which is here. I had picked up this one in the hopes that I would avoid tracking this one down and picking it up, but you know, every time I used it I was kind of like, I still want the original. I know the shimmers in the original are supposed to be like absolutely life-changing, so I ended up going ahead and picking up this one. Very, very, very lightly used. And I'm going to keep the Nabla Soul Blooming, so I think I can let go of the Enchanted. And this is what the Soul Blooming looks like. Pretty. And I think they just have like so much more intensity than the other palette, so that's why I'm going to keep that one. Alright. So we're keeping that. Then I have a few more of these Profusion palettes. This is the Violets, which again is very similar to the Acetate palette, so I don't know that I necessarily need to keep both eventually, but I haven't done my ranking video on these yet, so I need to keep it for now. And then same thing with the Euphoria, but this one I will probably keep even independent of, you know, that video, because I really like this color story. I love that it's cool toned. This black shade here actually has a lot of sparkles in it that are like green and a little bit of like pinky red, some purple, some blue. Very, very beautiful on the lids. This one came like completely exploded in mine, and Walmart was absolutely terrible with their customer service, so I wasn't able to get a replacement, but I just kind of smushed it back together and hope for the best. But the texture definitely is different on this now, so I can't really speak to the quality of that shade in its original form, but this palette's really, really nice. If you were only going to get one palette from the Profusion collection and you like cool tones, I would think about this one. But they're $5, so why stop at one? Alright, let's talk about this one. This is the ABH Norvina palette. Oh, you've got some dust on you. This is why I don't like these fuzzy covers. But it looks like this. Definitely going to keep this one. I love the metallics in this one. This shade is definitely kind of like blah. I wish there was more than just that one shade and this like one purple in here, because this really was like marketed as their purple palette, and it's not a purple palette, but I'm going to keep it anyway. It's got some fond memories of hunting that down at the beach with my aunt. Alright, Aether Beauty. This one, hard to get open. This one has such a pretty color story, but I feel like the shimmers in it are super, super soft. And they do show up, but they show up very soft. I feel like this would be a good palette for somebody who's like starting out and wants to do some color, but is kind of maybe afraid of how much color is going to be like left on their lids. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this one on. I think this originally was like $55 or $60, but I found it on Mercari for like $8. So I was willing to spend $8 to try and see if I like their formula, but I just don't think I do. Alright, oh, I've got another one of these little palettes. This is the I Live, I Love Ice palette, which looks like this. And I really like these 5 shades. Obviously, I don't use the pressed glitter because I don't want to be blind. But the rest of the shades in here are decent. I'll probably hang on to it for now. And then this one is the Mystic Petals from NYX. This I have a video on as well. I do really like the formula of this one. It's very complementary to the Nabla Soul Blooming, so I'm going to hang on to that. And then this one is the Sea Color Purple Rain palette, which is supposed to be a dupe for some Jeffree Star something or other. But I like this one. I think it is a really pretty formula. Works really nicely, so I'm going to go ahead and hang on to it. This is a palette that I made myself, duping out the Amy Hearts Beauty, Amy Loves Makeup collection that they did. There was a palette, the Alma palette that they did, and I was never able to get my hands on it. I tried ordering it, but the brand like scammed me, and I never got my product, so I had to file a thing with PayPal and get my money back, and it was like a whole circus. So I decided to just get some singles and remake it myself, and I'm actually kind of glad that I did. I've had an opportunity to buy the original Alma palette since then, and I went past over it because I think I like my version better. It's got a little bit more intensity to the colors than what the original has, and I pulled in some of my Cleona shades. I've got, I think this is Luxie. Yeah, this is a Luxie shade in here. I've got some Cleona round pans in here are these two. There's some Give Me Glow here. These two are Give Me Glow. This one is ColourPop. So I've got a really nice mix of shades in here, and I think this color story works really well for me. So I'm going to keep it as is, and I'm going to keep it. Next up is the rubymay Purple Kush palette, and this one I picked up because when I did pick it up, I didn't have a lot of like purple shades in my collection, and I do really like this particular color story, so I'm going to hang on to it for a little while longer. What's next here? I guess I'll do this one next. This is the Beauty Bay Age of Opulence palette. Very, very pretty color story. I love the depth in this palette. I think it's really cool. The only disappointing part is that most of the shimmers in this palette are actually like neutral shades, and you only have 3 shimmers that aren't, but these 3 are so vibrant and beautiful. Like, I'm almost not even mad about it, so definitely hanging on to that. Same with Blueberry Muffin. These BH palettes, if you can find them at like TJ Maxx or something, definitely score them because they are really, really nice. This one is beautiful. This Cravings shade is so like sparkly and delicious. Every time I use it, I'm just like, yes, I made a good choice. So definitely going to be hanging on to this one. And then probably my all-time favorite BH palette like this is actually from their travel series, the Passion in Paris palette. Oh my gosh. Which looks like this. Very beautiful color story. I love that you can kind of do like something more like burgundy romantic, or you can go very smoky and cool toned. You can do a little bit something softer. So I feel like this has a lot of versatility to it. This is great for travel, and I feel like it's great for date night. So hanging on to that. And then Colored Rain and Power. Oh my gosh, I was so hyped when this came out. I was watching Power, like my husband and I were watching that show religiously when this came out, so I was so hyped to pick this up. The only downside is I never picked up the magnetic palette that looked like this. I wish I had because it was really pretty. But yeah, here's what the inside looks like. I do really like this color story. This is a really vibrant purple. Again, it pulls kind of blue in my camera, but very, very vibrant purple. You've got an iridescent kind of like fuchsia shade here, and then some berry tones. So we'll be hanging on to that. And then this is the Copacetic Butterfly Kisses palette. I won this from a giveaway from Tribe Beauty Box, and they said you could get something from any indie brand you wanted, and I picked Copacetic because I really wanted to try some more of their stuff. So this is the palette that I got. I like everything except for the pressed glitter, of course, I don't use, but I do think the rest of the palette is really, really pretty, so be hanging on to that one. So then I have this Salvi palette, which is basically like an all matte with the exception of that one shade, kind of purpley pinky color story. It does stain a little bit, but I do think it goes nicely with some of my other palettes, so I'm gonna definitely hang on to that. And then the last one, certainly not least though, this is what brand is this? I always forget. Unicorn Gang Shop, and this is this palette. I love the way this palette looks. It has such a funky color story. Every time I use this palette, I really like the looks that I do. So definitely going to hang on to this one. And that is everything for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and stick around because I'm going to be uploading many more declutter videos very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.